I watched the movie Earthlings, and it starts right off the bat by connecting speciesism to the Holocaust, racism, sexism, basically explaining how one gender, race, species sees themselves as higher. They hold themselves to a higher standard and they abuse their power. It goes through the 5 uses of animals, so having them as pets, using them for food, for clothing, for entertainment, for animal testing. It starts off by talking about puppy mills, which I knew a little bit about because one of my dogs, we got her from a shelter, and we didn't know that she actually came from a puppy mill. So during the movie, it talks about how they have psychological issues, and that's definitely true because my dog would bite her paws until she would bleed, and she's better now. It's fine. But I didn't realize that a lot of them are backyard operations without veterinary care, which clearly makes sense. It also talks about how shelters have to kill them, and I knew that they did injections, but I did not realize that they did like gas chambers where they would put dogs in. It could take them up to 20 minutes to actually die. For the food part, it's really disturbing seeing the man. It was like he enjoyed killing these pigs because he was like, "Oh, I missed you, and I'll get you next time." And it was like he was taking like personal enjoyment during it, and it was disturbing to see how someone could be so numb. When it talks about clothes, I I don't use leather and stuff. I never really think about it, but I didn't realize that they would have like ties around the cattle's nose. They would like put ties over their eyes, and when they're deprived food and water, and when it gets too much for them to move, they stop. They break their tail and try to get them to get back up, and they do other things such as putting like chili pepper by their eyes, and just really disturbing to see how someone could have that's their career. They spend their life doing that. When it talks about entertainment, I used to ride horses, and I would see things going on with like broncos or see them ride the bulls and stuff, and I was never a fan of it. I never understood how someone could enjoy that. Understand it might sound a little hypocritical because I was riding horses, and clearly I'm going to say that I treated my horse well, but I understand how people would see that differently. And when it came to animal testing, I mostly think of animal testing as testing on mice and other little smaller creatures, which I don't condone. I think that we've evolved so far in science that we could find another way to test something. We've made hearts and other things like that that we could find another realistic way to test out something. But when it came to the scene where I can't remember if it was a pig or what they were burning, but they actually burned a living creature and the skin was being peeled off, and that was just so disturbing to watch. Definitely had to look away. There was also the baboons that are strapped down and they are like shocked, or I can't remember exactly, but their head gets thrust upward and their body just jolts, and it seems unnecessary. When it comes to the conclusion, kind of brings up how ignorance is bliss, pretty much. People don't want to know what's going on behind their food. I know that I would try not to think about it when I used to eat meat. But it also concludes by saying that we're all animals of this planet, we're all creatures, and I think that using animals for our own use is just not fair because it's another being and we hold ourselves to higher. And I understand that, yes, they don't speak and there's a little difference between us, but that's what Hitler kind of believed about the Jews and everything. He believed, oh, they're not in our league. So I think that we need to be more understanding of every species. We need to be good advocates for this world and treat everyone with love and compassion. I do think that this is an important movie for everyone to watch, but I don't know if it's mandatory in the classroom setting, because if someone doesn't want to see it, they will probably miss class. They probably won't want to go. So it should be their own choice if they want to see it. But I do think that people should take the time. It's only an hour and a half. I think that it's important to understand what's happening behind your food, and if you choose to wear leather, fur, I think you should know where it's coming from. So